you just want to have gold, and people know what it is.
Another over the weekend Wall Street deal. Aileen Specialized Lender CIT Group is in talks with J.P. Morgan Sachs. A favorable outcome for CIT is going to send the market higher. And then he did have the comment about the Nouriel Rubini. So
well, the market I don't think is going to go higher. I think it's already discounted. The fact that CIT already received $2.3 billion, they're going to get another $6 billion, and it's going to come from the Treasury of the Fed. And that's the end of it. I think everybody on Wall Street knows that already.
How long can the plunge protection team keep commercial real estate afloat?
Well, I think they're going to have to buy the paper, the deeds for the properties from the banks. The properties are going to fall around 70% from their highs, and so essentially they'll be buying at 30 or 50 cents on the dollar. And I think the Fed is going to do the same thing that they've done with the collateralized debt obligations that the banks own, and they're going to buy them from them. And the government is going to end up with piles of commercial real estate that they bought, not the government, but the Fed, that they bought with money that they created out of thin air. And, of course, that's very inflationary. And so that's what's going to happen, and that's what they're doing right now. They're buying treasuries, and they're buying $2 trillion worth before the 30th of September. And they're already in there buying the treasuries and the Fannie, Freddie, and FHA, and then they won't even tell us how much they spent buying the bank's garbage. And they're going to keep right on doing it. And every time they do it, it's inflationary. And it's going to offset the deflationary drag up to a certain point. And it's going to cause the valuation, which we talked about as well. And it's going to cause gold and silver to go up.
So do you think that the commercial real estate is the bubble to burst next?
Right, and then that'll be followed by the derivatives and probably cap and trade if it's passed, which is one of the greatest scams of mankind.
When do you think the derivative bubbles will start? I mean, what is the commercial real estate the start of the derivative fallout, or?
Could be, but it's another separate set of problems, and that separate set of problems. The first time that we had a problem was with AIG in a big way, and it was $105.4 billion, and the U.S. The Federal Reserve gave the money to AIG, which in turn paid off. In fact, they paid Goldman Sachs $13 billion, and much of the money that was paid out on the other side of the derivative contracts was with banks in Europe, about 60% of it. And so they've already begun doing that. And it's only a matter of time before we get hyperinflation.
Is there any way to capitalize on the commercial real estate bust?
I haven't thought about that. I don't know how you get short commercial real estate. Maybe there's a entity for that, but I'm sure that the premiums are so high it's not worth it. I don't have any further comment on that.
You mentioned about the hyperinflation and the relationship to the deflation kicking in. Assuming this, his question is, Joe wants to know, assuming this fall starts a hyperinflationary period, how long do you expect it to last, and when will deflation kick in? I know you don't have a crystal ball, just a guess.
2 to 3 years. I think that's what we're looking at.
It is amazing how they can just continue to, extend and how they can keep it all afloat.
Well, why we want to get rid of the Fed. That's why that is so important. Because it'll expose the whole scheme of what they're doing.
Get back to my next question.
More vinegar.
All of a sudden, my computer started going slow. Where in the Constitution do we read about czars? Obama presently has over 30 czars, reporting only to him, His Imperial Majesty. Is this a way to run a country?
No. It's a way to run a fascist dictatorship. And that's what he's doing. They're concentrating power more and more and more. But the public, they don't want to listen. Most people don't want to listen. All they want to do is argue. They don't want to buy gold. They're all going to get buried. They're going to lose it all. Because they won't listen or they're greedy. They're more interested in listening to 10 and 11% returns and losing their money, having it frozen like I just talked about with Kiley and his friends, or with Madoff. Where did the money go? The Federal Reserve and the Treasury and the Madoff affair knows exactly where it went, because all the wires went out of New York through Israeli Discount Bank and Bank Leumi, and there was another bank, I can't remember it, and they all went out. Just came in one door and out the other. They know where all the money is. On this latest affair, I don't think they do. We'll find out.
Okay, let's see. So folks, if you have any questions, you can send them to Discount Gold and Silver at yahoo.com, Discount Gold and Silver at yahoo.com. Here's a question. My computer just got slow all of a sudden. The current head of the WHO and Chinese Communist Party member, Margaret Chan, has issued a grave warning that the swine flu virus is now the largest pandemic ever recorded and will sweep our Earth in multiple waves of death and chaos.
Well, she's joined the core of crap distributors. I mean, look at my health section in the last issue and then the one tomorrow. I mean, there's doctors who unequivocally tell us the problems that people are going to have with these shots. You're going to end up with something similar to the Gulf War syndrome. And don't take them. And there is no epidemic. They're going to get rid of people by giving them the shots. That's what it's all about.
Well, Bob, if this was a true pandemic, they wouldn't be screaming on top of the lungs that it is a pandemic. I mean, usually something like that, they would keep quiet.
Good point.
Because they don't want to, they don't want to create panic. But this time they do, because they want to panic people into getting the shots.
That's right. Yeah, it's a big money maker too.
Yeah.
And they can get rid of half the population of the world in the process.
Here's a question. This is Brian. He's just been listening to the program for the past couple of weeks, so he just found the program, so thank you for listening. And he's curious to hear a little more explanation behind your warnings against keeping money in CDs, which, if he understands correctly, are at the risk because of the FDIC's waning budget. Surely there would be unrest if people started getting pennies on their dollar for their FDIC-insured deposits. Wouldn't the government rather simply print more money for the FDIC to keep people complacent? Are CDs so risky that it would be advisable to break ones that would fully mature within the next year or so?
Well, breaking them usually doesn't involve major problems. I've been telling people to get out of CDs for some time, and the reason why is the insurance of over for $250,000 is temporary, and it has to be renewed. It probably will be renewed. I don't see how they can do anything but renew it. But if the FDIC doesn't have any money, and even if they're given $700 billion. They've asked for $500 billion. It covers 1% of deposits. Come on. Wake up. Smell the coffee. It's all there. Get out of your CDs, your cash value insurance policies, your annuities. They're all in the stock market, and the market is going to go down.
He also had a question for me. He wanted to know if I had any type of a brick-and-mortar operation. And everything we do is mail order. And he wanted to know if he could come and pick up the item, save him on shipping costs. Well, shipping costs are only $35, so, gasoline would cost you more than that.